Hi there, guys. Steve Jensen, Dr. J from the National Sales Academy and the Impact Training, and all our SACers. We've got a special guest. You've all heard about him. You've seen all the pictures. You even might have met him at the quarterlies. But today we're going to be doing a success seat with the great man, Jason Loft. Jason has been in business for a very long time. He's been a director of Protrade United for 7 years. He's a driving force behind all of the things done in sales and operations. He works closely with a really close friend of mine, Danielle, and also Johnny Mailer. They're superstars in business. Their business has actually grown exponentially, and it's been for the efforts of Jason. And he's one of the guys that I really love speaking to, and I'm inspired by him every time I speak to him, because he asks great questions, but he actually does the damage. So we're going to have a deep dive, chatting about what makes him successful, what has he done. And you'll be able to share some things, because I want our whole community to start chatting to people more and using the great resources. I'm one resource, but I can assure you people like Jason and the rest of the gang in the Sales Authority Club are equally, if not more valuable to you. So welcome, Jason. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Steve. Great to have a chat and catch up and share our journey and any insights that we can provide for the SAC members.
Well, you've certainly had a illustrious career, mate. Every post you knock in there is a winner. So I'd like you to give us a Reader's Digest version, because I know you've done stacks of your journey so far. How did you get involved with the Protrade and how it's all going?
Yeah, look, so probably wind the clock back now 13 and a half years ago, and I was working in a role with my current business partner, John Mailer, for a company called National College of Business. And so we did mentoring and training in business across multiple different industries. And that company, National College of Business, grew and it evolved. And we got to a point in business where we thought, look, we're trying to be everything to everybody. And it would be wise to select the clients that we really want to work with and add the most value to. So we stepped back and we looked at our clients and really isolated what we thought were our avatars. And that brought us into the trade and construction industry. And so I connected with John and we sat down and we thought, why don't we specifically create a business that focuses on helping tradies get off the tools and becoming really great at business. And out of that conversation, Protrade United was born. And we've had a great evolution, and particularly in the last 3.5 years, we've seen some great growth in Australia, but also New Zealand, and things are starting to really move for us.
So tell us a little bit about what Protrade does. What do they teach? What value equation they bring to the party, and what do you give to the tradies and the people that drive those trade businesses?
Yeah. So our clients, great hardworking people, generally start a small business through the passion of what they do. They get referred. We'll work with plumbers, electricians, builders, landscapers, and they're very good with their hands. They find that running the business, working on the business, is something that they haven't been exposed to. So we support them with coaching and mentoring to help them work on the business, get the right cash flow projections in place, understand, how to attract their ideal clients, be able to quote more efficiently and hire the right people. So ultimately, through the journey with Protrade United, a tradesman will become a great business owner. So that's our focus.
What do you think would be the biggest challenge out there for those tradies, or even business in general, that come to Protrade? Now, I know you do lots of things. You help them with, understanding their books and also their digitization, their websites. You also give them strategies for marketing and sales. So what do you think is the biggest thing that holds them back from being successful?
Yeah, one of three things. It's either time. So there's never enough hours in the day. They're saying yes to way too many things and not delegating effectively. It's hiring great people. And the third one is cash flow. So generally, one of their challenges will stem from either three, whether it be money, hiring, or time and energy as well. So,
and what does Protrade do to fix that?
Yeah. So what we would do really is sit down with the business and discover what keeps them up at night and really what's holding them back from achieving their goals in business. For the majority of our clients, what they want to accomplish is to be able to have a profitable business, money in the bank, more time with their family, and the ability to be able to have 1 or 2 holidays a year. And that's success for 80 to 90% of our clients. So we help them, make sure that they've got some consistency around their financials. They understand it. They look forward. They project. They're not just looking in the rear vision mirror with an accountant. They're actually looking ahead. We give them guidance on how to quote more professionally, understand the sales process, and finally, building a business and a team that really serves them as the owner.
Every tradie should be doing this because they are, as you said, they're very hard workers, but sometimes they're on the tools and can't drive their business. And I've heard some of your success stories in the past of some significant turnarounds in some of the business. What would be the biggest turnaround you've had in a period of time that you've been working there?
Oh, that's a great question. There's so many, now we're supporting over, 240 clients around the country. So I'm just to isolate one. I had a conversation, actually a recent one, with a gentleman down in Melbourne. He's got a security and electrical business. And we chatted with him 3 years ago, Steve, and he shared, look, when I chatted with you, at that time, he had 3 employees and he was struggling to put fuel in his car to cover his personal expenses, let alone, grow and build the business. And he was really at a tipping point. He had literally 30 days to go. And we were able to help him over a period of 6 months, get back up on his feet, create some great systems, connect with some ideal clients, support him from a marketing perspective. And the last 2 years, he's recorded record profitability. He now has every weekend off with his family. He's finished by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And can't speak highly enough of the experience. Another quick example for you is a client that we connected with over in Geebung, which is in Queensland. And he'd just taken over a business where it had a considerable ATO debt. And so he had a lot of debt. He was struggling to get his head around the fundamentals of, juggling team players, being able to manage his cash flow. And he was really stuck. He was at that point where I'm lost, and whatever you guys can do to support my journey, I'd really be open to that. So he took on the coaching. Within 6 months, he'd completely paid off quite a large ATO debt in excess of 250 grand. So he then was able to secure 3 new contracts to some mining organisations, which really accelerated their growth. They grew 48% within the next 12 months. Fast forwarded it to a year later, and they had a company from New Zealand fly over and actually buy out the company, so purchase the business. So at the age of 40, the gentleman that we worked with in Geebung has retired. He simply just chooses to do what he wants to do any day through that experience. So going from really lost with a considerably large ATO debt to retired at the age of 40 is a pretty remarkable story. So.
What a great story. That's incredible. Wow. I mean, it just shows you, if you let go of the ego and just say, help me, and then actually do, it makes all the difference. What a wonderful story. That's I take my hat off to you. Well, the stuff and processes you use are cutting edge, so it's no wonder you get that sort of result.
And it helps. So just to add to that, Steve, it helps when the clients are aware and they're prepared to take the action. So they see, yes, there's a challenge, but there's no such thing as a blue pill. And we're very candid with our clients to say, look, it's not going to turn up in the next 30 days magically. There's no blue pill. It's going to require some work from you to actually make things happen. But following the right structures and the right systems, success is definitely possible for our clients.
We're going to talk about this a little bit later, so I'm going to get you to hold on to that thought, my friend, because it's process, systems, and protocols that make a difference. We're going to find out what makes Protrade so successful a little bit later. I'm going to take a little bit of left turn here. Yep. Now, a little while ago, we've known each other for a while, and I've known Johnny and Danielle pretty much most of my adult lives. But I want to ask you a question. What was the reason you reached out and wanted to sort of get involved with the Sales Authority Club, and what problem or challenge did you want a little bit of help with?
Yeah. So Sales Authority Club, look, I believe that you don't have to be sick to get better. And although when I initially reached out, things were going pretty good, I remembered 15 years ago sitting in a session with yourself, Steve, at the National College of Business, and we had 8 hours of just intensive, great quality sales coaching, and really transformed my results as a sales professional. Within a period of 3 months, my conversion rate lifted by a good, 33%. And I was doing pretty well. So I took on the principles. We got across some elements as a disc, and through that session, it really pivoted my direction in business and in sales, and I was able to capitalize on some great results. So I took my mind back to that 15 years ago, and when I reached out 2 years ago to yourself just to say, hey, what are you up to? I remembered that conversation and that training session that we had 15 years ago. And I thought, look, if I could get a little bit more of that magic and sprinkle it across the Protrade United business, what difference could that make to my team and also myself? So that was the reason that I reached out via LinkedIn and connected, and I'm very glad I did.
Well, it was actually a pleasure to hear your voice again. And it was great to reminisce about some of those days. My goodness, you throw out 15 years ago, you're getting rid of seeing the old greys coming in here, mate. We all grow old gracefully. Look, we're doing some great stuff. And, you've been the professional of the quarter and all those sorts of things. And you always make every post a winner. But I'd love to get from your perspective, what are 3 parts of the SAC? We call it the SAC, as you know, that gives you the biggest impact, and what's your favorite part of it?
Yeah, I would say there's 3 key things I'll touch on here. First is the community. So when you combine a committed group of individuals that are like-minded, they're professional, that want to get better, and they want to help one another with an abundance mindset, that creates a really good environment. So, just hearing the stories from the other members of the Sales Authority Club and connecting with them, particularly in the breakout rooms, it's great just to get around other high-performing professionals. So that's been huge. Look, the second thing there was, really, we do a weekly phone check-in with the Sales Authority Club. And for myself, I'm very auditory, I'm kinesthetic, and I like to ask questions because questions always give quality answers. And just the pearls of wisdom I've gotten through those phone calls on a Monday check-in call has been phenomenal. So I've been able to take things into the business and into my week and certainly act on them really quickly. So that's really helped. The other thing that I just love and look forward to, and not just myself, now our business development managers here at Protrade, but is attending the Sales Authority Club quarterly events. So the value and the volume of good content that's in that session has been phenomenal, and we're able to access that content and actually apply it over the following 8 to 12 weeks within our business. We role play it, PDR it weekly, just to ensure we're on track and it's reinforced. But in a one day, you take a day off, you take your team in, the amount of value that we gain from that day and the engagement and the enjoyment we get from it, we can't speak highly enough of it. So, yeah, mate, thumbs up to you there. It's the quarterlies are great work.
Thanks, Bateman. And you've got some great people that come along, and it's always great to have you guys giving me a hard time on the training. It's always a little bit of jousting and so forth. We might have a little bit of fun in a couple of weeks' time when the State of Orange is done and dusted. Look, pearls. One of the things you are so good at Jason, there's not a lot of people that do it. You ask great questions, but you're a massive implementer. But you also engage your team to do the stuff. You engage with them. And I love what you said. You do regular PDR and implementation. And the word was regular. Your implementation of skill sets that you say, oh, we can sharpen the axe. You might even know them already, but sometimes you say, oh my goodness, we've forgotten to do that. And you make it your own. Now, over the period of time that we've been playing for a while now, what's the most useful skill or strategy that you've actually learnt and implemented? I know there's lots of them, but what something comes to mind?
Yeah, look, one that comes to mind, it's very simple, but it is so effective, particularly in a consultative sales process, is the ability to recap. Really, really recap. Ask listen, formulate.
Oh,
Be able to Alf. So really be able to ask good quality questions, listen, pause, be really comfortable with silence, and then be able to, really create a solution that appears to their needs, make that recommendation and confirm. So going through the sales process that we've been taught and guided through in the Sales Authority Club, and just really breaking them down individually and practicing them makes such a big difference.
I love you taking on the algorithm of the ALF process. I mean, the big rock, isn't it? And you've got a very, very sophisticated process, but you deliver it with simplicity because you use the soft skills with the hard skills. So it's the implementation of those models. But guys, listen to what Jason's saying. ALF, ask, listen, and formulate. There's things within that modality, but it is a skill set that has to be practiced. As you said, he said he practices regularly with his team members. It's not just a one-stop shop. It's not like a, one dumbbell workout with the arms are going to make you look like Arnie. It doesn't work that way. Okay, now
can I just another one there that makes a significant difference, particularly in a consultative sales process and working with prospects and really being able to engage that green brain need, is the 5 W's and H. The 5 W's and H, when used correctly, makes a profound difference, and you can really allow your prospect to understand exactly what it is they need and why they need to change, and they take full responsibility in that process of that action. So they're feeling in that whole environment and going through that process that they're not being sold to, they're in a process of buying. And that process of buying is magic because people are excited to do business with you.
Doesn't become pushy, does it? And it doesn't put the emphasis on the salesperson to close the sale because they say, how can I start and then say thank you? And you guys do it proficiently, and you never had to close a sale, but the outcome is a closed sale. So touche to you. And putting it into the modality of the W's and H makes it real easy to remember. But guys, what Jace does, he takes the system, puts it into his models, and then he practices it, and he doesn't let it go. He just continually go back to some of the micros and mini micro role play. So hear what he says. This is a man that's exceptionally proficient in sales himself, but he also in partners and powers. He's a director of a company that is hands-on. Now, with that in mind, because you're very good with driving the business, what's some numbers that you've achieved, such as since you've been working together? What's some of the outcomes, percentages of of budgets or whatever the case may be? So numbers that can be tangible. The guy said, "Oh, this guy's doing well, but that's all noise." What could be something that's specific we could tell them that you've achieved since being playing together?
Oh yeah, look, if I look significantly at the last 12 months, all our records have been set within the company. So our business development managers, all their personal budgets and targets have been exceeded. They've all got personal bests over the last 12 months. Our quarterly budgets have been smashed. And every year for the last 2 years, we've been up 29%. So that's in annual revenue as a business. So yeah, and it's not from working harder, but it's from working smarter and more efficiently and following the processes.
I was tickled pink to see actually it smashed your quarterly budget already. So that's pretty exciting.
The guys are apt. I mean, they've got 3 weeks to go, but they've already kicked it to the curb. So it's great.
But you guys don't sit on their laurels. They smashed their target for their quarter, and we've still got 3 weeks to go, and they're still going to drive hard. You've got some great people there, and interesting, you've got different types of people, and your leadership has allowed them to grow and be successful getting the outcome, but you've led them in a different way, and you've got the same outcome. And guys, this would be something you might want to talk to Jason about at some stage. He's a phenomenal leader in empowering them to be good and picking up the things they're not too good and making them better. No big stick. Actually, what can we do to help? So I would suggest you reach out to him. His leadership, he's a great sales professional, as you can hear. There's leadership components of implementing and helping his team become better, because you'll become a more valuable human being if you can help other people become as successful as you. So you do it in abundance, mate. I must take my hat off to you. It's been inspirational to hear what you do with your crew. So well done. All right, now, as we've done all this sort of stuff, we do go to work to be successful. But I'd love to actually find out what's impacted you most personally by doing these types of things and professionally.
Yeah, look, I think when you're a very determined individual, you're very hardworking, your strengths can become your weaknesses. So, I'll, in the past, if I reflect on the last probably 10 years, my natural instinct when things are going tough is just to work harder and push and drive harder as an individual to overcome certain barriers. What I've really gotten through working, particularly with the Sales Authority Club and yourself, Steve, is just being able to step back, being able to evaluate and go, look, something's out here. We need to make some adjustments. We need to understand why things aren't on track. And then being able to provide the support and really fix them effectively and not having to have all the answers. It particularly comes with driven individuals. It's, hey, I've got to do this, or it's on me, but it's okay to just go, hey, on this one, I'm stuck. I could use someone to bounce off and another ear and to get some other pearls of wisdom, because most people have gone, or some people have gone through similar circumstances at varying times. So that's been really great. That's impacted my personal journey in a number of ways. And then that allows us to create better results within the business and then enjoy more success personally as well. So yeah,
there's not much in business more sales won't fix, but I think you've said something much more valuable, is actually sitting back, taking a deep breath and saying, let's not work harder, let's work smarter and engage other people to help. So whether it's us or others and so forth, I mean, surrounded by the Johnny Mailers and the Danielles of the world, they're a wealth of information. It's the network of people we draw from. So guys, listen to what Jason's saying. So would you recommend the Sales Authority Club? And if so, why should someone join? I know we can have a chat every Monday, but
yeah. Oh, that's a no-brainer. It's regardless of what your role is in sales. Sales is everything. Every aspect of every professional career has an element of selling in it, and communication is the cornerstone. So, sales is a communication professional, and I would strongly recommend Sales Authority Club to brush up overall on all your communication skills, to understand how to add massive value to prospects and customers ongoing.
Oh, terrific. Well, you're certainly the walk the talk, my friend, and if the proof's in the pudding. So I'd love to ask you a question as far as you're concerned, because you are the doer, but you also have a team. You've got a business, you've got a company that's growing, is international now. What's your biggest, let's say your biggest win, or in sales or in business, that you're most proud of?
Yeah, sure. So when we really started to put our foot down 3.5 years ago with Protrade United, we got the reputation in Southeast Queensland of being a company that delivers value and helps tradies. We got together and thought, right, well, what's next for us as an organisation? So, really, one of the things that I'm very proud of is creating a strategy to enter the market in Melbourne. And we did that successfully, and we were then able to roll that out into every state in Australia. And as of the last 18 months, we've been supporting clients now in New Zealand. So that expansion alone is something that I'm very proud of.
Going from a business in Queensland, and I remember in the boardroom with Kerry and Rowena, you remember them? And John and Danielle was actually talking about the National College of Business. It was something that no one had ever done before. And it was the beginning of something very, very different. And as they went through the metamorphosis of helping business owners, and then having yourself getting involved and having some specificity with fresh eyes, has really taken the business from a business in Queensland to an international business right across Australia and New Zealand. So that's something to be incredibly proud of. And you've been a conduit to make that happen. So guys, again, listen to what we're saying here. This is a man that actually has helped a business grow, not just in his own state, but actually internationally now. So if we put it into perspective. How did you achieve that? What did you do to be able to take that business from Queensland base and then say, well, let's have a vision. I think you said your target marketed your avatar, but how did you get the exponential growth and then even go to New Zealand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great question. So it could be one phone call and one sale at a time, or it could be a more leveraged approach. So what I've done is really focus on strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships enable your business to align with other professionals that are working with your target client, have a collective and a united approach to then serve the market. So we've managed to secure some great personal and strategic partnerships across Australia and New Zealand with brands that are 4 or 5 times the size of us. And I think it's, if you can show value to organizations that you can help their customers win, retain their business, and also make them look good in the process, you're well on your way to getting a look in and a meeting, and then, some great relationships. And those relationships we've now had in place for a good 4 to 5 years. So yeah, pretty excited about that.
That's incredible. Look, guys, this is what he is saying here again. This is golden nuggets personified. Not just a marketing, strategically planned to actually align with people that has his clients, that he could give extra value to that business. So it wasn't for him to say, well, what can give to you to create value? And I know we had a chat just recently from the director, from the person that drives the business. You set your own targets. We actually segmented them, remember, we a little bit, and you then said, oh, well, I'm going to do some work on segmenting my strategic partners. We have these genres, and then you drove yourself as an individual to actually then connect with those people, and you pretty much got your whole BAM or your target done and dusted with the strategic partners, haven't you?
Yeah, look, that's there. And I didn't actually recognize what our capacity point was. Capacity is such a good thing to know, because when you have capacity, it actually creates posture, it gives you confidence, and it has people want your brand more. So by having that conversation, Steve, we were able to establish what our capacity was. And when we're not far off capacity with the amount of strategic partnerships we can actually work with, by defining that and learning what we can actually say no to, it puts us in a very attractive place in the market.
You said something to me in that chat that really resonated. You say, look, we could go after a whole lot of businesses with strategic partners, but they have to qualify, and there had to be a number of differentiations. They had to have a certain number of people in the database. They had to have a status in the marketplace as well. So you're aligned with the best. And there were some specific rules that you put into place. So I thought that was really a very strong clarity in what you needed with your strategic partner. So guys, listen to what Jason is saying here. Look at the aligning with people, having people that are on the same value, but also work with the best, and they'll take you along. So Jason was saying that he's working with businesses that are significantly larger than his, but they still have massive value in Protrade United on what they can bring to the party. And you do regular webinars, don't you, to give them exceptional value all throughout the year?
Yeah. Oh, look, we would do a success webinar every month, and that's about adding value and helping their customers win. So one of the things to touch on too with the strategic partnerships is we've got a formula called serve and strategize. So when we sit down with a new partner, it's working out how can we best serve them to ensure that they get the best outcomes for their customers and members. And then ultimately what happens in that process is it's reciprocated. So then you create a really good cohesive long-term relationship that serves both parties with regular check-in and really transparent communication.
That's perfect. Guys, hear that? He's got a strategy to say, well, there's a win-win conversation. Let's really get clarity on what you need, and then we'll give you clarity what we need, and then we can have regular communication, so there's transparency. See these words? I know that Jason does this. He walks the talk. So listen, the strategy is, I believe strategy needs to be clear and concise. It doesn't have to be too complicated, but you just got to take action. So now we're going to do a bit of a jump into a time machine, mate. We're going to say, right, let's go back in time. With all of the knowledge that Jason Loft has right now, he's going to go back to Jason Loft, say 5 or 10 years ago. And I want you to tell the crew out here, say, what advice would you give young Jason Loft? What would you tell him to make sure that he knew that when he was younger, that was to help him now? So what do you know now? What would you go and tell him that he should do, shouldn't do? What should he be driving towards?
Practice until you can't get it wrong. So that's huge. You know, just we underestimate the value of practice. And if you look at the best professionals, particularly in the sporting arenas, they are practicing. It's ingrained. They practice until they can't get it wrong. They master their craft. So, you know, training and development is just the cornerstone of that. You know, surround yourself with like-minded professionals that, you know, are going to push you. They're going to challenge the way you think. Okay, so set your goals and your ambitions and your targets high. Hold yourself accountable. Be disciplined. And the last one I would say is just enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. If you're giving 110%, you're better off doing it with a smile on your face.
Absolutely right. Sometimes people moan and complain, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Well, stop doing it.
Yeah, we've all got a choice, right? You know, we've all got a choice, and we spend half of our life doing something which we call work. So select something that you love to do and make a difference.
Love it. Like-minded people, PDR, and enjoy. Young Jason, make sure you do that. So let's get onto the bandwagon and kick some goals. Good. Love it. Okay. We're coming to the end of our chin wags. I'll just get some success strategies out of you, my friend, because you've had a significant amount of it. So what's one must-do success strategy that works best for you?
Debriefing. So I believe that, you know, debriefing, particularly after, you know, quite thorough meetings, is being able to pull it apart, you know, connecting with one of your team and go, you know, really, what did I do really well? What was out and that potentially could have made the difference in that meeting? And what did I learn from it? So debriefing.
So many people say I'm going to do it, and we all have 24 hours in the day. Just make it a priority. I think a debrief. And by the way, a debrief is not what we improve. So we could say what worked and can we do it better, or should that be part of best practice? And sometimes that works as well too. So getting some feedback along the way and then giving some kudos. All right, we're up to do's and don'ts, mate. So what's one thing a salesperson must do and why? And on the flip side, what's one thing that must never do, not do, or avoid?
Must do is be completely transparent and authentic with all communications. Do what you say you are going to do. If you're going to ring someone tomorrow at 12 o'clock, don't give them a call at 10 past 12. Call them at 12 o'clock. Okay. Do what you say you're going to do, because professionals are looking at that. They're evaluating you before they make a buying decision. And particularly when you know, connecting with people and the trust isn't quite there yet, or it may be the first or second engagement. It's impeccable that you do what you say you're going to do. And on the other side of the coin, don't overpromise. You know, you follow through with your word. Don't overpromise and then underdeliver. And don't waste time with people that don't value who you are and what you've got to do to bring to the table and make a difference. So don't waste time with people that don't value what you can contribute to them.
Very wise. I love that, because at the end of the day, do's and don'ts from people that have been there and done that and seen people make the mistakes are so valuable. Guys, take it on board what Jason's saying here. We could talk for the next 3 hours about that, I can assure you. Okay, now in sales, and we're all in the sales business, we're in people business by way of our product, aren't we? So what's one strategy that works brilliantly for you or your teams. It's just like, that's just one thing that just, and we do this, it just works so well in helping people make a good decision. So if you could pick one, maybe two, what do you reckon it would be?
Yeah. Look, I would say when you're sitting belly to belly with a client, you're asking questions about, you're really painting the picture of where they want to take their business. There's so much value in that. And I think stepping back and getting really excited for your potential client and just creating that vision with them and making it really specific. Specificity makes it real. So being able to create what the next 12 to 24 month journey looks like, being able to recap that efficiently. The other thing that I would recommend too is that when you're coming towards the end of your, presentation or qualification process, is the question around why. So why makes people buy? It has people, particularly if things aren't working, why aren't they working? Asking, why is cash flow an issue in your business? Given you've known this for the last 12 months, why haven't you done anything about it? That enables people to take full responsibility and confess and just be really authentic back to you. Again, the question is, the why makes people buy.
So having a clear vision of what's going to happen for them and making sure that they know that we're on the same page, and then they connect. And then you're going to find out, well, let's just get cut to the chase. Now we've got permission to ask that question, ask them why. And as we did a training a little while ago, is the 5 whys. Why is that? And how's why is that? And it's just 5 whys, not 6, not 3, but it's 5. It opens a number of doors. And guys, that's the strategy that Jason has explained to you. If you can master those things, and we can never get masterful, but we can start to master it. And it's all about what Jay said from the get-go. It's becoming very good in your communication. Now, we've talked about things that work. I find that with most successful people, it's the mistakes we made or the challenges we've had that toughens us up, or we're on the ground, we're at rock bottom, and we bounce back up, and we have a much bigger learning from the mistakes. So I'd like to know, big mistake, setback you had so far, and a lesson you learned from it.
Yeah, I'll never forget this. I was new into a sales management capacity, and this was going back now 9 years ago, Steve. And I was in a role, and our team was performing at a significant rate. Things were going great. Sales were, flying through the door, and everyone was on track, and we were exceeding our targets, and it was all roses. And for 30 days, I become complacent. And I can honestly say that I'll never, ever go down that path of complacency again. It become easy. So I forgot the little things that got me there in the first place and that contributed to the team's success. In a period of 30 days, that complacency, we lost one of our high performers. Our leads dried up, and we lost a considerable amount of business in a really short period of time. And that was the best kick in the face that I've ever had 9 years ago. And I will never to this day become complacent again. Always remember what got you there, and it's the small disciplines that make the biggest difference.
Oh, the small disciplines that make the biggest difference. Love it, guys. Write it down. And it comes back to what you said earlier, isn't it? You guys and you put it into the culture of your business. And we learn and we implement, we PDR on a regular basis, we debrief. Listen to what Jason's been saying. He just said he learned that from making big mistake and saying, yeah, we do that, and we stop doing the little things. And salespeople are notorious for doing that. We've all done it. I've done it. And you've learned it, and you've avoided that problem. Whoa. All right. We're going to wrap it up with one big piece of advice for any budding sales professional or a veteran like yourself. It could be in business advice. It could be sales process, skill sets. What's some advice from Jason the man for everyone that's listening? Because I'm sure they're at the edge of their seat, because this has been outstanding.
Yeah, look, as I touched on earlier, it's enjoying the process, but just remember the challenging times when things are going tough okay, you've had a really hard week and you've put in all this effort and all this activity and you feel like there's been no progress, that's where the gold is, because you're growing as an individual, you're creating resilience, you're learning, you're developing yourself as a professional. So it's not the good times that make you, it's the challenging times that will shape you. So embrace the challenging times, enjoy them, look forward to them, as opposed to putting your head in the sand, and just, enjoy the process and the journey.
Wonderful advice. It's so wise. I mean, I can recall many years ago, I was sitting in a hotel room, Hilton Hotel, talking to a phenomenal presenter, one of the world's best. And I'm sitting on the ground. He said, "Hey, how you going, Steve?" And I said, "Oh, I'm really frustrated." He said, "Oh, how good's that?" I said, "What?" I said, "I don't know what to do." He said, "Oh, what a great place to be." I said, "Are you serious?" He says, "Man, just enjoy the journey. It's going to be great." I said, "Oh, there's a lot of bullshit." He says, "No, when you get into that difficult situation, when your brain starts to get frustrated, the beautiful thing about it, it's going to find a solution. So guess what? Get excited about the solution that your frustration is going to create, and then let's celebrate." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Let's go for a walk." And I'll never forget it. It's just exactly what you said. And out of that, with it, he said, you will find it. It'll pop up. If you're frustrated enough, you'll get there. And guess what? It actually did. It had popped its face up like bang. And I can remember sitting upside down, looking at this man's massive head. And I'll never forget it. And what you've just said is a wonderful way of wrapping up all about Jason Loft. Mate, it's no wonder you're having so much success. You're going to go from strength to strength. I mean, your business is exponentially exploding. So what's next for you over the next couple of years? What's the goals for you, for Jason and your business?
Yeah, look, for us, New Zealand's really in motion now. We're exploring how we can enter the UK market, so the United Kingdom, and be able to service and support more trade professionals. So what gets us out of bed every day at Protrade is being able to contribute and make a difference to the lives of tradies that really need some business guidance. So just being able to help more people is what excites us and our team, and ensuring that our team comes along that journey, and that they enjoy the ride, and also they benefit in the success of Protrade as well. So excited about that. Excited personally as well. We've just invested in a property up in Sunshine Coast there in the hinterland. So bought some acreage, and just keen to, I've been in the city now for 15 years. So it'll be a good exit and escape for myself personally. So that's what I'm about for the next couple of years, Steve.
Fantastic. Well, listen to the vision of the man. Listen to how the clarity that he has. It doesn't come by mistake. Now, how can people get in contact with you, Jason? I'm sure they'd love to ask you a few questions. Come up to Queensland, have a coffee with you. Well, how can they get in contact with you? And maybe some trade companies would want to say, how can we get involved with Protrade as well? So how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, great. So feel free to send me an email, or even jump onto our website, which is www.protradeunited.com.au. Shoot me an email. Very open to support anyone who's involved in the Sales Authority Club, and any tradies that need some guidance, always happy to have a chat as well. So.
Terrific. So the email address is on the website, or can you tell us what it is now?
So jason@protradeunited.com.au.
I'd say it a bit slower, because if it was me, I'd be writing really slowly, and I always make a spelling mistake. So for me, one more time.
Too easy. So jason@protradeunited.com.au. So feel free to drop me a line at any time, guys.
Terrific. Well, mate, that is gold. I'm going to be listening to this again and again. It's just absolutely fabulous. Your wisdom and your success stories, but also your challenging story of a complacency was a nice learning experience for everyone to hear. Some of the young guns will go through that, and they maybe listen to say, "Oh, I remember Jason saying that." So big thank you. I know how busy you are, and taking the time out to spend a little bit of time in the SAC success seat. So I appreciate your time, mate, and we'll talk real soon. Appreciate it, buddy.
My pleasure, Steve, and thank you.
Hey guys, how good was that? We got him for a good 45 minutes and getting the good stuff from Jason. And isn't it great to hear someone that's just so onto what he does and how he does it? It's not a situation where it's just hit and miss and a whole lot of noise. There's so much content and structure and process. Just doesn't come from his head. It comes from his heart because he's done it. So reach out, have a chat with Jace. He's a great bloke. And, share some ideas. I'm sure you've got some stuff to share and you might want to maybe collaborate with some stuff. So always reach out. We can't do it alone. So thanks for joining me today and look forward to the next SAC Success Seat. So see you later. Bye for now.